DMV Download, the new daily podcast from WTOP News, is out now. Hosts Megan Clorty and Luke Garrett get the story behind the story.
Every weekday afternoon, Megan and I will go beyond the headlines with WTOP reporters and sources to bring you more on the biggest local stories impacting you, our fellow Washingtonians.
The DMV Download podcast is available now on all major podcast platforms. Subscribe today so you don't miss an episode. The DMV Download podcast is presented by Steamfitters Local 602.
Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Myles Frost earned a Tony nomination this week for his role as Michael Jackson in MJ the Musical on Broadway. I spoke with Frost about his DC and Maryland roots, from Wootton High School to Bowie State University to becoming the king of pop. Myles, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. You have no idea.
Well, you have no idea. We wanted to talk with you because we have a little bit of a hometown hero angle with this whole story, because you grew up around here. You went to, Wootton High School in Rockville. Tell me about just growing up here. You know, did you listen to the King of Pop growing up? Did you do high school plays? I want to know your theater and music roots.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised. I was born at Holy Cross in Silver Spring Hospital, and I spent the majority of my earlier years back and forth between Southeast DC, living with my grandmother, and Fort Washington in Maryland. That's where I spent my elementary school time. Elementary school, I bounced around from Tyack to Lake Arbor to even Randall Highlands at one point, which is down in DC. And for middle school, I went to Isaac Ordine Middle School down in Fort Washington. And high school, I went to, like you said, Wootton High School. And Wootton High School was an interesting experience for me. It was a culture shock because I was so used to being around people that looked like me, and then to be put in a position where that just wasn't the case. You know, I was the minority. You know, it took a lot of adjusting, and it was a lot of things that I didn't know. Theater being one of them. You know, theater was never something I was talked about when I was growing up. I didn't know much about it, and I had a band in middle school, and I started playing piano when I was about 6. And Michael has always been a part of that journey and me finding myself as an artist and as a musician. And I remember when I was 5 dancing on the Spirit of Washington, I saw an open floor on the dance floor, and I said, why not? So I went and danced on it. Next thing you know, I look up and there's people surrounding me throwing money. And, that's probably, I think, my earliest memory of me, dancing.
Where was this, you said? Spirit of Washington? Where was this?
Yeah, so the Spirit of Washington, it's like a boat that goes around, this area.
Like down around down the Potomac near down near the Tidal Basin. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I think that's my earliest memory. And I believe I was dancing to Michael. My mom would tell me.
Were you moonwalking back then or not yet?
Probably not yet. I was doing my own thing. I was just doing what I felt. But it's funny because I take that same approach to dancing now, and that's the same approach Mike takes. Is if you think about it too much, it won't be authentic. You have to let the music move you and kind of direct your body. Even if there is set choreography, if you feel like you need to take a moment to break out of that, and do that. Right. That's the beauty of what I do under Michael. And but going back to just growing up, I listened to Michael Jackson all the time. I was so, I can't even find the word for it. I was so amazed. Amazed doesn't even do it justice. I was so wrapped in his process of creating. And this is at a very, very young age, because I was like, okay, Michael's cool, but where did Michael learn it from? I was that type of kid. Right. Wasn't a big school kid, but when there was things that I really wanted to learn and wanted to know, I was like, how does he do that? Like, where did he get it from? So that, I started to look into James Brown, Gene Kelly, Sammy Davis Jr., Fred Astaire, Bob Fosse, Nicholas Brothers, and I just discovered this whole world of things that were beyond my time, and I said that's how I wanted to learn. I want to be kind of a jack of all trades, and that's usually not people's go-to. People say I want to be great at this one thing and just work super hard to be, and I just never found any joy in that. I was like, what if I want to do more things?
Right.
What if I just want to be great at a whole bunch of different things? And I think Michael was a master of taking little bits and pieces of other people and then applying and creating one entity, being him.
His own thing out of all of these different, but I love hearing that you saw something that sparked you, and then you wanted to go all in and say, I want to learn all of the different influences, long before you were born, long before both of us were born. There's a long history here, and I love that you just sank your teeth into that. Real quick, just in the spirit of trying to move chronologically through your life to get what got you to Broadway. Real quick, you mentioned that when you were at Wootton High, that's when you were first introduced to the idea of theater arts and things like that. So did you act or star in any productions or anything in high school?
So I did. I have a funny story actually. So my freshman year, I didn't know anybody. Like I said, I was in a place that felt super unfamiliar to me. But I always found myself in the chorus room. And the chorus room had a piano, and like I said, I've been playing piano since I was 6. And that was my comfort spot. So I was playing the piano, and I was probably playing Alicia Keys or Stevie at the time. And this teacher walks in. She's like, well, I hope there's a voice behind that beautiful piano playing. And I said, yeah. Well, that's great because we need more people for this musical we're doing. And I was like, okay, what does that mean to me? She said, I can tell that you're not familiar with it. So the show is called Hairspray.
Ah, yeah. Locally, Baltimore story, right? Local.
Yeah. And she said, what I want you to do is I want you to go home, just watch the movie. The movie, the newer version of the movie just had recently came out not so long ago. She was like, just go home and watch that tonight. Come back tomorrow, let me know what you think. I said, okay, what's the harm in watching the movie? So I went home. I said, Mom, can you watch this movie with me? She said, what's the movie? I said, Hairspray. She said, oh, I know Hairspray. I was like,
wow. She probably knew the original one. Yeah.
Right. So, I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I see it's a nice vibe, beautiful story. Then I see this guy go, way I can't see, and I was like, I want to be him.
That's me.
I want to be him. I don't know how this process works. I went back the next day. I said, I don't know how this process works. I don't know what I got to do, but I want to be him.
Right.
Seaweed was I felt like he embodied the type of performer I wanted to be. So she said, well, you have to audition. I said, fine, that's fine. So I auditioned, and I ended up becoming the first freshman to get a lead role in a musical. First freshman and first black freshman to get the lead role in a musical at my school. So
wow, you were a freshman. Wow.
Yeah. I was a freshman, and because normally they give the leads to the seniors because they're
sure, yeah, you got to pay your dues, but they were like, this guy's too good.
Yeah, and I wasn't, and I didn't realize it back then, and it took me until I did MJ to realize this, and we'll touch on this later, I guess, but
sure.
I can only control what I do.
Right.
I can't control what they're looking for, whoever they is. I can only control the work that I put into it and what I produce on whatever audition floor that I'm performing on. And that's what I did. I went in there and I did my absolute best. I left no crumbs. I said, even if I don't get it, whoever's following me is going to have a hell of a job to follow, So, I carried that mentality through my performance. And that was my first time singing and dancing on stage, was doing Seaweed. Because normally when I had my band, I went solo by this point, but when I had my band, I was playing piano and singing. That was my thing. That was, kind of it was just kind of my thing. I never really thought of going out and singing and dancing, even though it's what I love to do. It just wasn't on my radar at that particular time. So when I was able to do that with this show, it just opened my mind to, it made me realize the type of performer I can actually be and how versatile of a performer I wanted to be. And so the next year, I was not allowed to do anything because my grades are bad. So my mom said, she said, if you really want to do this, then you need to, get your grades up. And I said, okay, I'm gonna make it happen. So that year I also didn't do well. But in my junior year, I said, you know what, I'm really gonna buckle down, and I ended up getting a 3.5. And my mom said, all right, I'm gonna let you go back to doing, your extracurriculars and everything like that. So I ended up doing another musical called Legally Blonde, and I played Warner, who's Elle's ex-boyfriend, who becomes Elle's, she's like the arrogant boyfriend. And it was an interesting role for me because it was outside of my comfort zone as an actor. Because Seaweed was cool because I said I saw myself in Seaweed, but in this particular character, I didn't really see myself. So I think that was my first true acting theater experience, and me actually having to act.
Right, becoming someone else that you don't really relate to. Right.
Exactly. So I think that was the first time I was challenged in that capacity. And then junior year, that same year, and freshman year as well, I did the talent show. So the first year I did the talent show, I won the talent show. I did Chris Brown, Fine China. It was an amazing experience.
Nice.
And skip to my junior year is when I did Billie Jean for the talent show.
Ah.
And
wait, did you do everything with the hat and the spinning around and the whole thing?
The whole nine. And little did I know that my mom, sitting in the back, because my mom recorded every performance. So, I can see her with the flash on.
Yeah.
With giant iPads, recording everything. And little did I know that video would be the reason I'm here today.
Like an audition tape later on or something, man. All right. Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But real quick, did the high school crowd scream like because we've all seen the video the first time MJ did it in the audience. It was just like an erupt. I don't even know where that sound came from. They were just like, "Oh my God, we've never seen this before."
No, it was definitely like that, and it set the tone for the rest of my high school career because people were expecting those kind of things from me. Even with my first performance freshman year, nobody had done a performance like that at my school, so it caught people off guard because you see people. Kind of doing karaoke type of songs. And I came and I said, no, this is going to be a Myles Frost performance.
Nice.
And
I love it.
Yeah. So to be able to set the tone for that was amazing. My senior year was the first time, I was in Cinderella. I was Laura Pinkleton in Cinderella. And I was in my first movie, my first film.
What was the movie?
So it was called All In. And it was very unique. And I hold it very near and dear to my heart because I played a 15-year-old kid with autism.
Okay.
And it was the first time I had to do research on a role and really delve into my capabilities as an actor. And I met this kid named Titus. I always tell this story I always mention him when I tell this story. I met a kid named Titus, and he has autism and Down syndrome. And we're the same age. And I met him and his mother and his little brother at an IHOP. When I say that was probably one of the most humbling conversations I've ever had in my entire life, just learning what he's had to go through, what he can't take mentally, like school. He can only go to school 3 days out of the week because or 2 to 3 days out of the week because it's too much for him, mentally for him to handle and emotionally. And listening to his little brother, who was probably at the time 9 or 10. It was scary, and a part of me felt bad that he has to be because I was put in the position where I had to grow up really fast. So I understand, you have to kind of be the older brother, even though your older brother is 6-7 years older than you. And so I understand that wholeheartedly.
And what do you mean by that? You had to grow up really fast. What do you mean?
Well, I didn't have the best relationship with my father or stepfather, so. I put myself in the mentality of like, okay, I want to protect and provide for my mother and my sister and my grandmother. And that's been my driving force through everything that I do. One of my biggest things was, my grandmother will be 89 in May.
Oh, wow. And happy early birthday.
Oh yeah. And she's been able to see the show twice now.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
it's such a blessing because I've always rushed to get my big break, not for myself, but because I wanted to see because my grandma's my biggest fan.
Right.
I wanted to see her. I wanted her to be able to see me embarking into my career with all the lights and all the cameras, and her be able to see that, be around to see that, and alive to see that, and two, be in her right mind and see it.
And she probably remembers the Jackson 5. Like, that's probably her era.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Like, she's seen a lot of people come and go. So, and I think it means a lot to me that she was able to see that. That's one of those super, super special moments to me. Because, when you're a kid, you think grandma's going to be around forever. Then you turn 16 and then you realize that's not the case.
Right.
And, you kind of put this chip on your shoulder of like, I need to get this done. I need to be here by this time because, you can't explain it. It's just a force that it's like something just keep tapping you on the shoulder, like, go, go, go. And that's the force that carried me.
Stay tuned for the rest of my conversation with Myles Frost, but first a message from a fellow WTOP podcast.
DMV Download, the new daily podcast from WTOP News, is out now. Hosts Megan Clorty and Luke Garrett get the story behind the story.
Every weekday afternoon, Megan and I will go beyond the headlines with WTOP reporters and sources to bring you more on the biggest local stories impacting you, our fellow Washingtonians.
The DMV Download podcast is available now on all major podcast platforms. Subscribe today so you don't miss an episode. The DMV Download podcast is presented by Steamfitters Local 602.
Welcome back to Beyond the Fame for the rest of my conversation with Tony Award nominee Myles Frost.
I didn't even want to do Broadway. That wasn't even and I guess this is going on to the next phase of my life.
Yeah, let's go.
Broadway wasn't on my radar at all. I left Broadway in high school.
Oh, okay. So when you went to Bowie State, then what was the mission at that point, or the goal?
Well, at first I went to Belmont University down in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I spent my first 2 years of college. And, I was majoring in audio engineering.
Okay.
Because I'm an artist. I write music, I produce, I play piano, drums.
It's all related.
Yeah, So my goal in that particular time was I wanted to be an artist. That was my thing. I wanted to be an actor and an artist. Broadway, I promise you, was not even close to my way. Everybody around me my friend Chris wanted to be a Broadway star. Everybody around me wanted to be Broadway stars, growing up in high school. And I was like, I support y'all, definitely do, what you want to do. But I said, that's not me.
But I'm doing music over here. Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to do. Because I'm the type of person who, as I was explaining earlier, with understanding how Michael works, as far as how he learns things, I've developed that same mentality. So I don't want to be an artist that doesn't know what's going on the other side of the glass. I want to be able to contribute my technical expertise to say, okay, no, can you turn the reverb down? Can you turn the delay down, or at least put it up like 2 dB? I wanted to be able to talk the talk,
sure,
outside of just doing the job of singing. And
I
hated being clueless. I didn't like not knowing, especially in a field that I love and something I love to do. And so, I transferred to Bowie State in my junior year, and I was there, and I switched my major to music technology. That's what it was called at Bowie State. And I decided to take acting classes. So by this time, I had already done 2 movies. I had done All In, and I had just done a movie called Big 50, the Rhonda Hood story, which aired on BET Her and BET Plus, I believe. And that was a fun role because it was a Prince-inspired role.
Right. Prince? Oh, yeah, Prince and Michael Jackson. You've hit the 2 big ones of the 80s.
I sure did.
Yeah.
So around my senior year, I decided to take acting class, acting intensive, because I'd never had acting classes before. I've been a super raw talent for a long time. Like, it wasn't until really this experience that I really got vocal lessons. So, and I haven't had any dance lessons. So I came in very, very raw to MJ. And I did this 4-week intensive with a guy named Leland Thompson. And, we just, said we wanted to connect, and he became my acting coach. About a week later, this is May 27th of 2021. This is the morning of my sister's birthday. He calls me. He says, Myles, you were on my mind this morning, and there's an opportunity that I think may be available if you want to do it. And I woke up and I just said, why is Myles on my mind? So I looked up Myles Frost on YouTube, and the first thing that came up was Myles Frost doing Billie Jean.
That your mom taped.
That my mom
at the talent show in
an iPad. Wow. and he said, I was wondering if you could do that, but sing better and dance better, and just, because I'm, it's 2021. I did it back in 2016. So.
Are you still at Bowie State at this point, or have you graduated Bowie State at this point?
I have not graduated. Because
still in college. Okay.
Yep. And I said, yeah. Now, mind you, I hadn't done any Michael stuff since 2016. Since that talent show, I hadn't done anything related to Michael. I hadn't even been dancing.
It was somewhere in the back of your brain. The muscle memory was still there somewhere.
So he told me, he said, the opportunity is, because I didn't know it was Broadway at first. He said, the opportunity is to potentially be an understudy in a UK production of Michael Jackson the musical. So that's how it was presented to me. So I was like, that sounds cool. And I said, yeah, I can definitely do that. He said, great. I was lying because like I said, I hadn't done this since 2016. Sure. But I'm not gonna pass up that type of opportunity.
Yeah.
And I said, he said, great. Can you send a video tonight? I said, well, is it possible I can send it tomorrow night? He said, yeah, that's fine. Just let me get it tomorrow night. So I said, okay, great. So I hang up. I call my manager, Easy. I'm like, look, I need a studio. Like, I was like, because in my mind, being an understudy would be really cool. I just don't want to be that.
Right.
So I want to, when I present myself, because I didn't know how to process work, I didn't know anything. So I'm like, the way I want to go super strong, and I want to make sure that my audition is so good that they are reconsidering whoever.
They want you as the lead, not the understudy. Yeah. Exactly. You wanted to blow them away with this tape.
Exactly. So that was my mentality going into it, and I called Easy. I said, yo, I need a studio like yesterday. He said, okay, I'll see what I can do. He said, the earliest I can get you one is tomorrow at 8:00 in the morning. I said, great, I'm there. So wake up, go to the studio. I was in the studio from 8:00 in the morning to about 6:30 in the afternoon, just working on MJ stuff.
And where was the studio? Is it near Bowie?
No, so the studio was in Maryland. Where was this? It was in Rockville. Rockville. And a very, very nice lady. She it was like a private studio that she had in her home. She's a professional dancer.
Okay.
And I was there from about 8:00 in the morning to 6:30. I didn't even eat that day. I was so focused on, I was watching Motown 25 over and over and over again, watching different renditions of Billie Jean, watching my version of Billie Jean to see, what are some of the things that I can take from what I did and, kind of make it into my own, but while keeping the integrity of Michael and the authenticity of the performance, so because they wanted a video of me doing Billie Jean. And by the end, they said, hey, we have some updates. We want to, they also want you to sing a couple songs as well, and send in some tips of that. But they said, we know that's going to take a little bit longer just in case you don't know the words or whatever. So if we can get a video of you learning one of the songs, that'd be great. Just kind of as a teaser to,
sure.
allow you to know that you're, because if you don't sound like them, then what's the point?
Game over. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I sent a video of me singing Learning Stranger in Moscow.
Nice.
And it's such a beautiful song. And they, their feedback was like they were blown away, and they can't wait to see the full package of everything. And that's the rest is kind of history. I got a call back after I sent my whole package, and they sent me some lines to read, and I did that. Sent my Billie Jean audition tape, and then I sent videos of me singing a few songs that they sent over: "Stranger in Moscow," "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough," and I believe the third one was "They Don't Care About Us." And because they all have, and it's interesting song selections on their part because it shows
very different, yeah,
aspects of Michael. You get the grit of "They Don't Care About Us."
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get this more mellow, more vocally filling portion of Michael with "Stranger in Moscow," like this, really emotional "Stranger in Moscow." You really get that.
Bit of a deeper cut on their point. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. You have "Don't Stop," which is all falsetto the whole way through, and it's kind of like more so a challenge of endurance.
Right. That's true.
And
as the title suggests.
right. Don't stop till you get enough, right? And so I sent that in. They said, "Oh my God, this is great. We'd love for you to come in and do an in-person audition in New York." I said, "Great. That's amazing. I'm glad you guys liked it." So
right.
I went over. We went to New York, and I had a workshop with Michael Balderrama, and to actually learn the choreography that they had planned for just to audition with for Billie Jean. So I learned new choreography for Billie Jean, and it was only an hour. By the 45-minute mark, I began to have an allergic reaction.
Oh no!
Yeah, I had an allergic. I think it was to the dust.
What? To what?
To the dust in the room. That's the only thing I can think that it was, because
that's stardust, man.
Yeah, like I didn't really eat that much, and I do have food allergies as well, and
sure.
Those seasonal
and that's a serious thing. Not enough. I have family members that a lot of people in the in the movies, it's always painted as like, oh, there's annoying, and like no, having seen it up close with family members, it's
so yeah. So with me, just to let you get you a little idea of how this went. When I have an allergic reaction to something, because my allergies are super bad, and I have eczema on top of that.
Yeah.
My throat closes, my skin breaks out in hives from head to toe, and I also have eczema, so the hives kind of alerts the eczema, so then I have itching on the outside and the inside. So I can't function. It's hard.
Like a chain reaction, and that can be deadly, man. It is serious stuff.
Yes, most definitely. And I was going through that, so I had to rush out. I didn't have my EpiPen with me. I had to run. I went downstairs to Leland Easy. I said, "Yo, I gotta go to CVS. I need a Zyrtec. I need 2 Benadryl." So I went, got the Zyrtec and the Benadryl. Went back to the hotel I was staying at. Was scared to call my mom because my mom is very, very protective of me. She's like, "All right, now mind you, she's in Maryland. We're in New York.
Of course.
She said, easy. I'm gonna meet you on the New Jersey Turnpike with Myles' EpiPen."
Oh my God, that's love right there.
Like it's my support system is so amazing, and I'm so blessed to have them. So she's driving down to meet Easy on the New Jersey Turnpike so they can exchange the EpiPen and rush back up.
Oh my gosh.
And and so
were you thinking of going to the hospital? Like, was it that bad?
No. So because I've had that all my life, so
sure.
When the reactions happen, like I know exactly I know when it's coming, because I start to get really hot.
Sure.
Then like I'll see welts or whatever, start to pop up on my skin, and I'm like, okay, it's about to happen. So I need to hurry up and do the things that I need to do while I'm still in a mindset where I can focus on things. Because once it's full blown and once it's here, it's like it's so hard for me to focus on anything. And so I get to the hotel. I'm in the shower. I'm staying in the shower for about 3 hours because it helps calm it down. Take it like a cold shower, and I hate the cold, but it's the only thing that really soothes it. And I get out the shower, I'm defeated, tired, I'm exhausted, I'm beat. So I go to sleep. I wake up, my audition's the next day. I wake up, and I think my audition was at like 2. I didn't wake up to like 12 or like 12:30, just because I was knocked out from 2. Who wouldn't be knocked out from 2 Benadryls?
Yeah.
So essentially, I didn't get to practice at all. Not even really get to practice. I didn't get to practice at all what I learned the previous day, and that's what I had to perform later, on top of the singing and some acting. So I said a prayer and I went over to the audition, and I walked into the room. It's like a whole panel of people: Lynn Nottage, Chris Wilden, David Holsenberg, Leah Volek. It's a whole bunch of different producers and assistant director Dante Klein. I didn't know who anybody was. I didn't want to do research on anybody because I didn't want, I just wanted to be me. It's like, if I don't know who y'all are, then you'll get the best out of me.
Right.
I'm going to do the best that I can do. And I went out there, and Chris Wilden says, so what do you want to start with? I said, no. I walked in and I said, hi, my name is Myles Frost, and I'll be auditioning for the role of Michael Jackson. And it was funny because I later found out, just having a personal conversation with Chris. He was like, it was so funny when you walked in and said that, because I was like, yeah, we know that. We we kind of figured.
We know why you're here.
Right. But I didn't know, that was my first, that's my first really like audition for something.
It was a nice, polite way to enter. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, it's a pleasure to meet you. Like, what do you want to start with? I said, I don't care. I can start with anything. He said, all right, let's start with the dancing. I said, okay, great. But then it dawned on me that I never practiced. It's just one of those things that just kind of,
right.
You just agree to it, and it doesn't hit you until later.
Sure.
So I said, you know what? It's time. It's out of my hands at this point. I can only do the best that I can do.
Let's go. Let's do it.
So
Yeah.
I turn around, I put my hat on. I'm getting into this mode, trying to focus and getting just to a center place and really getting into character, because everything that Michael does is a character. Beat It is a character. Bad is a character. Smooth Criminal is a character.
Thriller is definitely a character. Yeah.
It's definitely a character. So I was finding my version of that. I found it. I turn around and I say, give me the smooth groove, because that's the intro to the song. Then I do the routine. I didn't miss a beat. I didn't miss a step. And I give all that to God, because like I said, I just learned it and I never practiced it. So for me to be able to remember it and do it in the pocket, on beat,
right,
and remember all the choreography, it was just a moment. I think I'd like to think that Michael kind of helped me through that moment, because if you're meant for something,
right, there's
nothing that's gonna stand in between you and getting it.
Exactly.
Or if you want to look at it as if God has something planned for you, then there's nothing anybody can say or do that's going to prevent that from happening.
That was your moment of destiny, and you stepped into it.
Yeah, and I even said, after the audition, I did I sang the songs as well. Then I did the acting pieces, and I said, thank you. We really enjoyed it, and I walked out, and I said, God, if you made me have that allergic reaction for no reason, we're going to have a different conversation, because I need to know why.
Right.
So, I took me having that reaction the day before as a sign that I'm going to get it, because nothing great comes easy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, that was your final little test, your final hurdle before the big payoff. Yeah.
Most definitely. I could have woken up and said, no, I can't do it. I'm too tired. I was tired when I woke up. It's not like I woke up refreshed, I woke up groggy, because when your body goes through that type of reaction afterwards, it's tired.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you powered through, man. What was the reaction when they said, hey, you got the part? Like, I want to know that really quick.
So for a good 5 minutes, I was over the moon. I was like, oh my God, my mom wasn't home. My sister was in her room. I ran in my sister's room. I said, Morgan, I got it. She said, ah.
Yeah.
So, we had a moment, and then, it felt like a switch flip, because I realized that everything that comes with that, both negative and positive.
Yeah.
And I just had to have a moment with self and really think about, is this something that I'm ready for?
Yeah.
And accept it for all that it is.
Yeah.
And then I came to a place of understanding with that, and I was ready.
And now since it just launched in February because it got delayed a little by COVID, and now it's finally launching. Tell me about the show itself. So it doesn't go through his whole life story, right? It's more or less set like as he's getting ready for the 1992 Dangerous tour. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's ultimately set 2 days before the Dangerous tour, and we do go through his life. You know, we have 3 different Michaels. Young Michael, young Jackson 5, kind of like Ben, I Want You Back Michael. Then we have Off the Wall Michael, you know, going into Thriller Michael, and then we have me, who I play, who is present day Dangerous Michael,
right,
in 1992. And you know, we follow his life and get to learn his life through the lens of an MTV crew who comes to the rehearsal to interview Michael. And, you know, we learn about his creative process. We learn about his relationship with his father. You know, we learn about just the things that he's gone through in his childhood to bring him to the point to where he is now, and how he developed the work ethic that he has, and why he's so hell-bent on perfection. You know, being perfect is a common theme throughout the show. And you really get to see that and feel it, and feel the pressure that he puts on himself. And you get to see him in a human light. As far as, you know, he went through regular human stuff, financial issues, you know, things of that nature. So you really get to see him, you know, he's humanized, and I appreciated that about this show.
Rattle off some of the hit songs that our listeners are going to know and love when they come see it on Broadway.
Oh, They Don't Care About Us, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Beat It, I'll Be There, I Want You Back, Billie Jean, Thriller, Bad, Too Bad, for those of, you know, for the geeks,
the big fans, yeah.
for the big fans, you know, Stranger in Moscow, Tabloid Junkie, Price of Fame, for the ones who know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so many different. Blame It on the Boogie, Dance Machine, like it's honestly a hell of a time, and the energy's amazing.
And speak directly to our listeners, all the DC folks, because I know a lot of your family and friends, classmates, and people are gonna, even people that don't know you but are like, wow, he's from here. Reach through the screen and tell them, hey, invite them, hey, come on up. It's not that far of a ride up to Broadway. Come see, you know, your hometown hero.
Now y'all know that ride is only a 3.5 hour train ride. Y'all can make that on a Saturday, baby. Come see me. Come up to New York. We're at the Neil Simon Theater in Manhattan, and just dance and have fun. It's a really great family experience. Please bring your family. If it's your birthday, come on down. If it's your anniversary, come on down. You know, if it's just because, come on down. I promise you, it's an experience that you are going to carry for the rest of your life. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, Myles Frost. Thanks for, you know, doing Maryland proud and DC area proud.
Most definitely.
Go get them on Broadway. Keep it going, and we're all rooting for you down here. So thanks so much. Thanks so much for taking time and going through, you know, so in detail through your life's journey so far.
Of course, I appreciate that, and I thank you for the opportunity. DMV, I love you. That's my home, and oh yeah.
We'll catch you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.